please help me give a huge round of applause to Mr. David Wood!
How do you live your life? How do you approach business? Do you dip your toe into the water only after 3 people have told you that the water's fine? Or are you the kind of person that plays halfway? Or are you someone who plays full out? What I'd like you to be able to do is to make money by helping the world and doing something that you're passionate about. I would like you to be able to replace work with fun. I want you to be at choice as to whether or not you work. You sit on the beach when you want, and you go and set up a charity when you want. We're going to learn how to make money from something you're passionate about, how to generate massive web traffic, massive sign-ups to a newsletter. You impact thousands of people while you're asleep. But people will pay for what you know. My life experience is valuable. Woo!
Now, what was that speech all about? That was one of my first big speeches to over 1,000 people for T. Harv Eker. And what was it about? They asked me to speak about newsletters. And I said initially, no, what do I want to speak about newsletters for? And then I realized that newsletters were the crux of my business. They were the core of it. I started with 20 friends on my newsletter, and then I had 100 people, still hadn't sent out a newsletter, hadn't written one. And now I built it 10 years later to 120,000 subscribers in about 91 countries. But what if you just got 1,000 people? What if you start with 100 and then 500, then get to 1,000? From there, it's not very hard to get it to 10,000, and then you're a player. Now, why a newsletter? Because what you want to do is have flowers before sex in the Bahamas. Right? What people expect is come to my website, see my website, and buy my product that's $50 or $100 or $300 a month. You don't know me, and there's a million other people offering the same thing, but buy my stuff. It's really silly. So what you want to do is offer flowers before you go to something extreme in the relationship, and the equivalent of flowers in this example, or in this context, is some kind of freebie. A free download, something of value. It can be a top 10 tips report, the top 10 ways to lose weight in 30 days, the top 10 ways to double your energy, the top 10 ways to save money on your indoor garden, something like that. So your newsletter also is part of the flowers deal. You give a freebie so that they'll take your newsletter, and then the newsletter is something for free over and over and over again that builds the relationship and has people feel comfortable that they can buy from you. So let's look at why a newsletter is so critical. On top of building a relationship. Top of mind. When they come to your website, they may not be ready to buy from you. They're probably not, they're just surfing. But if you keep at the top of their mind, at the front of their mind, by sending them a newsletter with valuable information over time, when they do need you, when they do need that product, or they do need your coaching, then you're the one they might think of. Referrals. Some people refer me to others because the newsletter just hit their inbox and they think, oh, what a great article. Susie's going to like this. It gives people an easy way to refer to you. And then in your newsletter, it says, click here to subscribe. So that if people do refer you, the people they refer you to can go and subscribe to your newsletter. Time freedom. I can't serve everybody with my time. I'm a limited resource. So by creating really fun articles and useful articles, you get to serve people all around the world while you're asleep. People could be reading my newsletters right now, and it's not requiring my time. It's almost free to send. An electronic newsletter, you pay maybe $30 a month, $50 a month for the service, and then you could send out 4 a month if you want to 50 people, 1,000 people, 5,000 people, and it costs you nothing for those emails. If you were going to send those physically in print, it would cost you a fortune. Instant market. When you've got 10 people on your newsletter who've been getting a newsletter for a while, that's 10 people who might buy from you. When you have 1,000 people, you've got a market. You send out your next product, and you're all set. And finally, and this is perhaps one of the most important reasons, a newsletter is an asset to trade. I didn't realize this, but when I got to about 40,000, and you could do this with 4,000, you don't need to have that kind of a number, I met Jack Canfield. I just went up to him and said, I admire what you're up to, and your books make me cry. And we got chatting, and I dropped in the conversation casually, subtly, and perhaps subconsciously, yeah, you know, I run a newsletter list of 40,000 coaches. And he said, really? He said, we should do business. We should help each other. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah. And at the time, I think his newsletter was like 70,000 or 90,000, but 40,000 was about half his list. So he gave me his card and he said, set it up. And you know what? 3 months later, we did it. I sent an email for him. He sent an email for me. And I got, I think it was at least 1,000 leads, 1,000 new subscribers. Might have been 2,000 or 3,000 from that, and a bunch of sales. There was several $1,000s in commissions. So this is amazing. Then Bill Harris, who runs HoloSync, Centerpoint, that sells HoloSync and makes over $12 million a year selling a meditation CD, he wouldn't call it that, he emailed me and said, hey, I just saw that Jack promoted you. We do stuff with Jack. Do you want to do stuff with us? And he had, I think it was about 200,000 people, maybe 250,000 on his list. And he said, yeah, we'll do it. You just send 3 times for us. You know, 2 or 3 times, and we'll send once for you. I got at least 6,000 leads from that. So when you have something to trade with people, that is critical, and you can sell not just to your list, but sell to other people's lists. Here are your Module 3 actions. This is what you want to get done in the next 7 days. And reread Chapter 5 because it will help you go through all of these actions. Now let's get ready for the silly sound. Create your freebie. This is going to be a top 10 tips, or 7 ways to do X. Or it could be an audio. Do a teleclass, make sure it's good, and offer the audio as a free download, and they need to put in their email address to get it. It just happens to come with a subscription to your newsletter. You can't just offer a free newsletter anymore because so many people do it, so offer a compelling freebie. Chapter 5 will show you how to do it. It's fun and it's easy. Set up your newsletter system. I recommend Professional Cart Solutions. Go to getpaidforwhoyouare.com/PCS. Getpaidforwhoyouare.com/PCS. Get yourself set up. I think they have a free 14-day trial or low cost, something like that. And you can get started with the autoresponder system. I think it's the cheapest one they have. It's under $30. Put a sign-up form on your website. This is assuming you have one. If you don't have a website, or you can go back and catch up on that, going to Weebly.com. And if you don't want to do that right now, you can still do the rest of this. Really, you can go and sign up for Professional Cart Solutions. You can create your freebie. Make sure you do the actions, even if you don't have a website. If you do, put a simple sign-up form on your website. Convert your current contacts into subscribers. Chapter 5 will tell you how to do that. So you've already got people you know. See which of those who would like to contribute to your newsletter, perhaps with articles, perhaps with advice, and who would like to subscribe to it, and who would like to invite their friends to subscribe to it. Choose your design or template. This can be so simple. Read Chapter 5. But you could do it in text. You could just take a newsletter you already subscribe to, perhaps a text one, and just use that format. That's what I did. Draft your first issue. Now this is the most important action on this whole list. Even if you don't want to do the rest, draft your first issue. You need the practice, and it's fun. So come up with a topic. Think of a problem that your target market has, and just write, say, the top 3 pieces of advice, or the top 3 tips you have. And then you can even split that into 3, and that's 3 newsletters. A newsletter doesn't have to be long. This can be so easy. Draft your first issue, get help from people on the forum. Send it out. That's for bonus points. Send it out. Send it to friends, ask them for feedback, post it in Get Paid University on the forum, and ask people to give you feedback. Okay, that's it. Module 3, set up your newsletter in 7 days. This is such a critical piece. You will be building this for the rest of your life. Have fun with it.